The end of days is always a more interesting look about the writer than the situation they are presenting. Do you hold out hope for a better future, fight for the new world, maybe write out the end of the days with a pal? But RADZ by Deep 7 is a 2000 game about the apocalypse, and it's about having a radical time with the boys, with yeah. RADZ is about the heavy metal apocalyptic dumbfuckery, and it embraces it with an oddly refreshing straightforwardness. It's not neon pink apocalypse either. It's a dirty, terrible, awful place about dirty, terrible, awful people being dirty, terrible, and awful to one another. But what's the game of this thing? At its core, it's a 2d6 roll under system, adding your attribute and skill together and trying to roll under it. Do we have interesting abilities? No! Agility, dexterity, perception, strength, intelligence, willpower, and of course a rad level. But it's just magic. But rad level sounds cooler. You only have 25 points, so average man will have 3s across the board, but it does encourage you to not be average, but you still should kind of be average. So skills, with a Z, have to be interesting, right? Well, with 30 points, you'll be able to get up to the cool rating of 5, but encourages you to not actually do that, and most of the skills are pretty standard. Demolition, brawling, endurance, medicine, awareness, and the such. Nothing really cool to stand out. From there, you have a few assets, liabilities, and behaviors to work with, but most of these are just your standard benefits, drawbacks, and gimme points that give you +1s and +2s and maybe some bonus experience. The main unique thing are the backgrounds and cultures of the radical dumbasses come from. We got the flags, who are human people, gleaners, who are dwarves, the law dogs, who are armored death machine witch hunters, and the best, red hands, who are vaguely racist if you want to look at that, rom gypsies, who are gypsies with mechs, scars are super soldiers, the sprawlers and the vaulters, who are also just human, and trogs, who should be shot in sight, and we can't forget the wickeds, who are wicked and are mutant freaks and use radical is different than rads, magic powers, and there's also wings. They have a bird, but that's all irrelevant. Combat is the name of the game, and combat is pretty much just that 2d6 roll under system. Action economy is actually fairly aggressive, forcing you to choose how many things you want to happen before the round starts, taking a -3 to each subsequent action. Melee fighting is a free defense, but dodging is also an action, and -3 to all of your actions. There are a lot of things to do, but all those things all use the basic mechanics already established, usually in the form of penalties. But wounds are a bit weird. When you take damage, your margin of success comes into play. So rolling a 4 when you have a 6 means you succeeded by 2. Easy enough, but then you'll multiply it by the weapon rating. So let's say I'm hitting you with an axe with a weapon rating of 3, so now I'm dealing 6 damage. Add my bonus damage from the weapon, which is +2, so now I'm dealing 8 damage. Then I get to add my strength, which let's say is 5, and so in total we have a 13 damage. But it's not damage. We'll roll for our hit location, subtracting any armor, and of course, your shrug value. If you manage to get 0, well, congratulations, you're not going to get hurt at all. If you fail to do it, you're going to take a wound. If you really mess up and the damage is double your shrug, you'll take 2 damage in fact. Each of these wounds acts as a death spiral, and a pretty nasty one at that, with the already pretty tight DCs on most checks. 1 or 2 bad hits and you'll be dead before anything. This isn't even factoring in that the shock is in the game, so you can get KO'd pretty damn quick if you get hit. So that's RADZ. Well, I should mention one final bit. This book is written by someone who writes every fucking word with a Z in it, and everyone is called a tard. Tard's this, tard's that. It's not the GM, it's the and everything is written this way. It's a special kind of 90s ironic metal band names with Death Weasel or Murder Fuck or Killmageddon or Skullzuckers or something like that. It's not for everyone, and I found it pretty grating after a while. It doesn't help the setting has hyper competent super people who are all cool and you kind of aren't, and you kind of just suck. But RADZ is fine. It's not bad, it's not good at all, it's fine. My name is Notepad, and this was RADZ Apocalypse with Attitude. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and many thanks to the Law Dogs who keep funding my one-way death crusade to kill all the mutants and eradicate the radicals. Godspeed, and good night.